Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are doing good. So today I'm starting with ServiceNow integration course. So this course will be in couple of videos. So I'll cover the whole integration concept from scratch to end. I will let you guys know how can REST and SOAP integration can be performed in ServiceNow, and I'm going to explain you about scripted REST APIs, and I'll try to make some videos on integration hub as well. So basically I am trying to cover what all integration is being supported in ServiceNow till now. I'll try to provide overview or ideas about them, and we'll try to see how REST and SOAP integration can be implemented in ServiceNow for with any third-party tool. Okay. So this will be my first video for integration series, and it's kind of all about overview of the integration and REST web services. So guys, let's get started. So guys, first of all, let's try to understand what is ServiceNow integration, or basically what is integration. Okay. So integration means establishing the connection between two applications or systems. Okay. So they can interact with each other. In simple language, we can say that applications can communicate with each other or move the data between each other by using integration. So let's try to understand this term integration in simple language. So if ServiceNow wants to send or receive data from any third-party tool like Jira, HP, Slack, or any third-party tool, how can ServiceNow do that? So there should be some connection established between ServiceNow and third-party tool. Then only ServiceNow would be able to communicate or interact with third-party tool, right? And the vice versa. So if there is no connection between ServiceNow and any third-party tool, they cannot interact with each other. So that's why what we do integration with ServiceNow to third-party tool, so that ServiceNow would be able to transfer the data or receive the data from the third-party tool, and the same can be done with a third-party tool. Okay, so third-party tool also will be able to communicate. So that is again unidirectional and bidirectional thing we are going to discuss in my next slide. So here we will try to understand the integration. Okay, so basically we can send or receive the data from third party tool or any other application to ServiceNow if we have connection established. Okay, so ServiceNow platform allows direct integration for software, infrastructure, product, and APIs. So ServiceNow provides some inbuilt capabilities so which can be used to make integration with third party tool in a very easy way. So this will enable your enterprise to transfer the data from legacy system into platform, as well export the data from ServiceNow into applicable system. So usually this kind of question comes in our mind, why we need integration, okay, in term of ServiceNow. So like if we are doing integration with ServiceNow to HP tool, so if this any ticket is being created in HP tool, and from ServiceNow we want to see that data, how we would be able to see that? So in that scenario, there is need of integration. Okay. So if we want to see the data which is being created in HP, if there's integration between HP and ServiceNow, we would be able to see that data. Okay. If there's bidirectional integration, so if we update the ticket from our end, even HP tool, whoever is using the HP tool, they would be able to see that data, right? And second, we can understand in this way. So if there is any other AD, okay, Active Directory, so we use LDAP and this kind of integration to read the data from AD. So see, if any third-party tool is storing the user record and we want to see it from ServiceNow, so how can we see that? So there is some connection is required to third-party tool with AD. So ServiceNow with AD. So being in ServiceNow, by using ServiceNow platform also we can able to see AD data, right? So these are the scenario. I mean there are multiple scenarios, but these are the few example where we use for this achieve this requirement, we use integration. Okay. So let's navigate to next slide and we'll try to understand unidirectional and bidirectional integration. So let's assume there is our ServiceNow system and there is one another third party tool. Okay, external third party tool. So now if third party tool wants to create a ticket into ServiceNow, so in ServiceNow we have to define what all data has to be come from third party tool to create a ticket and what all validation is required. So either ServiceNow can pull a data from third party tool or third party tool can send the data to the ServiceNow. Okay, so this is kind of one way of integration. So only there is no synchronization between two tools, ServiceNow and third party tool. Whether ServiceNow is pulling the data and doing the validation into ServiceNow tool, or this third party tool is sending the data. Okay, so when there is synchronization between both the tool and both the tool can exchange the data, that is called bidirectional. Okay, so in bidirectional what happened? Okay, so if a third party tool is sending the data to the ServiceNow also can send data or update the data, and that will reflect to the third party tool. Okay, and if there's any change to that ticket happen in third party tool, that will reflect into ServiceNow. So there will be synchronization between ServiceNow and third party tool, and there can be exchange of data between both the tool. Okay, so that is called bidirectional. So ServiceNow is also able to send and receive the data, and third party tool will be also send and receive the data. So whenever this kind of data exchange will happen, there will be synchronization that will be bidirectional. Okay, so I hope unidirectional and bidirectional is clear. So now we'll try to understand integration flow. Okay, so whenever integration happens, so it will happen between two instances or two system. So source system always transport the data to the target system. Okay, so when we are doing integration with ServiceNow to third party tool, ServiceNow tool will be considered as source system and the third party tool will be considered as target system. Okay, so what should be what all things are required in source system and target system, and how the communication happens, we'll try to understand whole integration flow here. Okay, so this will clear, I mean, any kind of integration happens, complex, easy, so this flow only happen or has to be done. Okay, so guys, first of all we'll try to understand what all things are required in source system. So first we need either endpoint or APIs. Okay, so APIs refers a set of protocols and tools that allow interaction between two different application or system. Okay, and endpoint is a URL that enables the API to gain access to resources on the system. So to establish the integration, first of all we need endpoint or APIs in the source system. Okay, and after that we need to define methods. So methods are basically having various kind. These are the main methods, HTTP methods, which help us to transfer the data from one system to another system. So mainly we are going to I have highlighted 5 main methods which are mainly used. So let me give you overview of these methods as well. So first HTTP method we use, that is GET, and GET is used to fetch or read the information, and another one is POST. So basically whenever we need to create a new record in the target system, we can use POST method to create an API. And another is PUT, and patch is used to modify and update the record. Okay, so if any modification has to be needed into the record, we can use PUT and patch HTTP method to create an API. So delete is used to delete a record. Okay, so basically we have understood the method which are frequently used like get, post, put, patch and delete. Now we'll try to understand content type. And when I'm going to create API, demonstration of API creation at that point of time, you can see, okay, maybe probably in my next video, we'll try to see how can you create API and where we are using this methods. It will be, I'm going to demonstrate that, okay. So now let's try to understand content type. So as we are aware of different architecture, so a REST and SOAP architecture can be used in ServiceNow to have integration. So that is in REST we can have a JSON and XML format content type, and in SOAP we are having only XML format. So that can be defined like which integration we are using. So if you are using REST, you have access, you can have JSON content type and XML. These are two mostly used. So you can have content type basis on your architecture which you are selecting. So this is also we are going to understand in further slide. And content is something data, like what data I need to pass, okay. So the body we define in the integration, what is exactly required, that is content, okay. And authentication, so this is also important part of the integration. So system has to recognize the user. If some user try to access something, so that user should be having access for that. So that will be defined in the authentication. And this authentication will be having basic auth. We'll understand one by one. So yeah, so access the endpoint, user should be having access, okay, for that, because everybody cannot access, like some set of specific user will be having access to access the APIs, right? No, everybody cannot come and cannot access, right? So for that purpose, so we define authentication so system can recognize the user, okay, and then system can show the data, and user will have access to modify the data as per whatever access they have. So now we'll try to understand part of target system. So here we need to define APIs in the source system. Methods, based on method, APIs will be defined, and then we need to define content type and data, okay. And we need to define define the authentication part as well. And by using HTTP methods, user, in target system, like authorization, first authorization has to done. So if some user try to access the data, so first that user has to be authorized, okay. And basis on method, like if any record has to be fetched, okay, so we'll define that into get APIs, right? Basis on that method, data has to be extracted, okay. So if some system has, for example, source system has requested some data from target system, so first authorization has to be happened basis on method. Basis on method, data will be fetched, okay, and then that data will be passed. So if I source system want to fetch some set of incident, okay, from the target system, so first the user who's trying to access that set of incident, he should have access authorization, and basis on method, so it will fetch the data, it will fetch the incident, and that data has to be parsed, because I have already explained about it in my previous videos. Data always transferred into the string format through web browser. So like whatever data we are fetching, we have to transfer that data into a string format. Then only data can be transferred through web browser, okay. So whatever data we have fetched, it will be converted into a string, and then it will go to the our another system as a response. So source system will be requesting to the target system, and basis on authorization methods, and then data will be passed, and then as a reply those data will be fetched to the source system. So this is how integration flow happens, okay. So I hope it is clear. So now let's quickly try to understand REST and web or REST and SOAP web services APIs. So mainly we are having two architecture, REST and SOAP. So REST stands for representational state transfer, and it is an architectural pattern. Okay, and REST can work with plain text, XML, HTML, and JSON, but mainly we use JSON and XML. Okay, and SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. Okay, it is a set of rule or protocol. So SOAP only works with XML format for communication and transfer of data. So in SOAP, it only works with XML format. So content type will be always XML in SOAP. Okay, but we have we can select any kind of data in REST like plain text, XML, HTML, JSON, because it supports all the formats. Okay, and in ServiceNow mainly there are three APIs. Okay, so first is table APIs, direct web services. So in demonstration we are going to see all these things and just highlighting this. So once I am demonstrating it, you will be clear about it. You don't have any doubt like what is this. You should be clear about the concept, what exactly being done. Okay, so quickly let me tell you what is table API. So table APIs allow you to perform create, read, update and delete operation on existing table and retrieves multiple records for the specified table. Okay, so mainly table in table API, table will be directly involved. Okay, so if you want to create an incident, so incident table will be, we can perform operation on that table itself. Okay, import set API. So import set API allow you to interact with import set table, and API transform incoming data based on the associated transform map. The import set API supports synchronous transform. So import set API, basically we create a staging table. Okay, and using transform map from a staging table to target table, we transform the data. So for example, if we are creating an incident through integration, so first we'll store like whatever data is coming from target table to source table, first we'll store into the staging table in import set table, and then we'll transform the data from import set table to incident table. So this is very useful because we will be able to track like what data is coming, everything. So it is, yeah, I'll explain you later in when we are working with import set API what are the benefits. So now we'll try to understand what is a scripted API. Okay, just I am giving you overview about it. So a scripted API, we can manipulate the data as per requirement. There's no limitation. It can involve a number of table. In number of table can be glided and manipulated the data. So whenever we are creating APIs, so in a table APIs and import set API, we cannot glide multiple data table, right? So by using scripted REST API, we can have our data manipulation as per our requirement. So we can glide a number of data, like however our APIs is required, we can achieve it through scripted REST API. Okay, so here namespace and API ID is it will be populated once you create a scripted REST API, and you can define service endpoints, query parameter and header for a scripted REST API, as well as a script to manage the request and response. Okay, anyways we are going to see the demonstration how it works and how we create it in my further videos. So guys, lastly we'll try to understand what is inbound and outbound integration in ServiceNow. So this will be hopefully last slide in this video. In next slide we'll try to understand how can we create APIs. Okay, so inbound means that other applications may call to ServiceNow APIs to get information from ServiceNow or create and update records. So basically inbound means other application will make a call to ServiceNow APIs, okay, to have action performed. Request comes to ServiceNow. Okay, so from third party tool, request will come to the ServiceNow, and that request will be acknowledged in ServiceNow, and response will be sent to other tool from ServiceNow. Okay, And outbound means the service now makes a call to other application API to get information from the other application or to create and update the record as per our requirement. So basically what will happen, service now will make a call to another application in outbound to have some record, to create, update, delete, like whatever action is required based on our HTTP method. Service now will make a call to other application. Okay, and the record is being created in target system. So basically what will happen, so request will be sent to target system, right? From ServiceNow, request will be sent to target system, and that request will be acknowledged in target system, and response will come to ServiceNow. Okay, and that response will be sent from third party tool to ServiceNow. Okay, and whatever action we would have defined, it will perform according to that. So I hope inbound and outbound integration is clear to you. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. In next video, we'll try to explore how can we create APIs, and we'll try to start with our REST integration. Okay. Okay, thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please do not forget to subscribe my channel, and you can comment and you can let me know your doubt, and you can let me know like what all videos you want to see further, so I'll try to make videos on those topic. Yeah, thanks for watching.